Gentlemen, welcome to TFI CAD Tips. Sweet, you've seen the video title, you know that this is about licensing, and you'll know that this is a boring topic. It is. It's a dull, uninteresting, uninspiring topic, but it's kind of a need-to-know thing. If you're involved with buying licenses, if you own a license, or if you're going to be in an environment in the future where you're going to need to possibly be involved in buying licenses, then you need to know about this. Emails have been fired out for the last year or so about these changes, and it's kind of one of those things where you would just dismiss it as being not really applicable to you, but it kind of is. It is. So what's going on? Right. The way you buy, or the way everybody buys an Autodesk license, is completely changing. So what I'm going to do is give you an overview of how the system used to work and then how it's going to work in the future, so you know the changes in what's different and how it affects you, I guess. Right. The topic of licensing is extremely complex. There's a lot to discuss. There's a lot of, every company's got a different combination of licenses, license types, number of licenses, when they bought them. It's massive. It's hugely complicated. So I cannot possibly cover every scenario either, not even close to every scenario. So I'm not even going to try. So what I'll do is I'll put a link in the video description to the Autodesk FAQs, which tries to answer as much of the common questions from people as they can. So go and check that out. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm just going to cover what's changing and then just discuss a couple of things about that. Right. And as per normal, Autodesk kind of threw a spanner in the works because I'd already recorded this video this morning. I'd already rendered it. I was just about to upload it, and then some shit hit the fan with regards to licensing, literally as I was about to upload the video. So I've had to redo it because it's sort of changed, not really my perspective on it, but it's kind of added in something which I should have added in. Let's put it that way. Right. So, the way it used to be, up until about a year ago, Autodesk sold what were called perpetual licenses. Right. It's just a fancy word. It just means it's a permanent license. So you would go to your reseller, right? We'll use AutoCAD as an example because it's a simple product, and we'll use ballpark pricing in UK money. So you'd go to your Autodesk reseller or Autodesk Direct, and you'd say, I want to buy a license of AutoCAD 2015. You'd say, the reseller would say, right, well, it costs £3,000. So you'd hand over £3,000. You would get a license of AutoCAD 2015 on a perpetual basis, meaning you can use that forever. You've paid £3,000 as a one-off, just a one-off upfront cost. You can use AutoCAD 2015 forever. But what happens when AutoCAD 2016 comes out? Well, you'd have to pay £3,000 again and buy AutoCAD 2016, or you'd go through an upgrade pathway, you'd get it a bit cheaper, but it's still a lot of money. Or what most people did, or most companies did, they would go to the reseller, there's £3,000, and then they would choose to buy the optional subscription maintenance contract that came with it. So as an extra £500 a year, you can pay £500 a year every year, and then you would get the new version of AutoCAD sent to you in the mail, or the download as it is now. So this maintenance contract entitled you, £500 a year, entitled you to get the new updates of AutoCAD every single year. You get other benefits, support and cloud credits and all that kind of crap that came with it. But essentially, you'd pay your one-off cost, and then you've got the rights to use AutoCAD 2015 forever. Then you've got this maintenance contract which you pay every year, and then you get the new version every year. So if you paid your first £500, you'd get AutoCAD 2016. Then you've got the rights to use AutoCAD 2016 forever. Next £500 a year later, 2017, you can use 2017 forever, and you can also use the old version. So there was all kinds of benefits to that, but that's how it used to work. That was how it used to work until last year. So since last year, a lot of the big flagship Autodesk applications like Inventor, AutoCAD, Revit, Max, Civil 3D, all the big ones, all the big flagship products, they've moved off of that perpetual license model to a new subscription-based model. I think it's July the 31st this year, and it's going to be different based on which region you're in. Some regions will be sooner, some regions will be later than this, but again, ballpark. At some point this year, you will not be able to buy not a single one of a perpetual license of any Autodesk products. This isn't ever going to happen. So if you want in the future to buy a license and have that license forever, you just can't do it anymore. In the future, it's just not going to happen. Every license that you buy from that point onwards will be on a subscription-based model. And if you think, well, how's that going to work? I don't understand the logistics of this. It works in a very similar, if not identical way to the likes of something like Netflix. So with Netflix, they provide a service. Autodesk, their CAD software will be a service. So with Netflix, you'll go to the Netflix website, you'll put in your credit card details, you'll pay $10, and then you can use Netflix for a month. The next month, you pay $10, Netflix keeps working for a month. If you stop paying your $10, Netflix stops working for you. Exactly the same thing's going to happen with your AutoCAD software and your Inventor software or wherever it is you've got. So if you stop paying your monthly, so moving forward, you will go to Autodesk, you won't pay $3,000, you'll pay £100. You'll pay £100 and then AutoCAD will work for a month. You'll pay £100 again, it'll work for a month again. If you stop paying your £100, AutoCAD stops working. That's the way this is going to work moving forward. Now, there's different plans you'll be able to go on, right? You're not going to have to keep paying money every month. There's different licensing models, so there'll be a monthly model, there'll be a quarterly model, there'll be an annual model, so you can pay maybe £1,000, and AutoCAD will work for a year. You can, if you're a bigger company, you can pay for a 2-year subscription plan, so AutoCAD will work for 2 years. So you've got options there, but either way, it's all on the same principle. You pay a set amount of money, and then you're paying for a subscription for that product for a set amount of time. If you don't renew your subscription, it stops working. So that's the way it's going to work. There's a number of different subscription models as well. You can still have standalone licenses. You can still have network floating licenses. But again, the details around those are going to be different. You can't pay monthly for a network license, for example. That'll be, you'll pay a year of a subscription, and then Autodesk will allow you to use a network copy of AutoCAD for a year, but not really for a month or quarterly. So there's going to be different bits and pieces surrounding it, and there's different circumstances, different scenarios and whatnot. So go check out all those details in the link below. Right, there's going to be some ups and downs. There's going to be some people complaining about this. There are people complaining about it, which is what happened today. And there's pros and cons to it. The first criticism that's always going to be labelled towards something like this is money grabbing whores. They're looking for money. They're looking for reasons to squeeze every penny out my pocket. Blah, blah. You could argue that, but I'm personally, again, this is just my opinion, I don't think they are penny grabbing here. This subscription model is just the way the world's going. Adobe do it now. If you want to subscribe to the Adobe Creative Cloud, Adobe CC products, that's all monthly subscription based now. Microsoft do it with their Office 365. That's a subscription service now. They're all doing it. That's just the way it's working now. People don't really want to spend. I mean, if you looked at the cost of Product Design Suite, or even something like Factory Design Suite, which was a suite of products that had Inventor in there, AutoCAD Architectural, Navisworks, Max, Showcase. It had a whole load of products in there. If you wanted to buy a perpetual license of Factory Design Suite, it will cost you nearly £10,000, possibly more. It's a lot of money. You get a new starter in who needs to use Inventor, part of Factory Design Suite, and you've got to pay $10,000 for a license for this new starter. That's a hell of a lot of money. The thing is, the subscription model is going to be reflective of that, though. If it was an expensive perpetual license, it'll be an expensive subscription license. But it's not a one-off, upfront, big hit of a cost. You can spread it out over months or years. So that's going to help. Right, the downsides to this subscription scheme. The downsides. Okay. The first one is this is going to start off as a positive, but it's going to end on a downer. If you already own a perpetual license, right? So say 3 years ago you bought Inventor as a perpetual license. You paid $6,000 for Inventor. Ballpark figure. $6,000 for Inventor. You've been maintaining it every year with your subscription. So you've been paying £800 a year for your Inventor subscription. You got Inventor 2014, 2015, 2016. And you're due to renew that subscription, right? You can still keep that perpetual license, right? They're not going to convert your old existing perpetual license that you've already bought and put onto this new subscription scheme. The annual maintenance that you're paying for as part of that old perpetual license, you can still keep paying it, and that'll still keep going indefinitely. So none of this applies to licenses that have already been bought before they're like the cutover, unless you late paying for it. So if your subscription for your perpetual license is due to expire, say 31st of... Okay, it's a leap year. There is no 31st of February. Right, let's just say 1st of March, right? Your license, your perpetual license subscription was due to expire 1st of March. If 1st of March comes and goes and you don't pay on time, then you can't renew that perpetual license. If you want to upgrade that perpetual license as part of what you would have done with your maintenance, you have to convert it over to a desktop subscription license or whatever they're going to call it in the future. So you just better not be late paying. Do not be late paying or you're in trouble. And I don't think Autodesk are in the mood to really make any exceptions for this and any special sort of provisions for people. It'll just be like, nah, you're late, tough. So that's the thing, that's going to happen. So don't be late paying it. Right, the downsides to it. It's all about late payments, really, and that's a shame because a lot of companies out there will routinely make late payments. So say, for example, you've got 50 licenses of Inventor, right? You've got 50 licenses of Inventor on this subscription model. You paid for it annually, and it's due to be renewed on the 1st of March. What Autodesk are going to do, they're going to make sure that whoever's involved is notified well in advance of the renewal date. So people aren't able to say, well, come on, man, you can't expect us to remember this. No, they're going to be making sure you remember. They're going to put in product notifications to say your subscription's due for renewal. They're going to be sending out emails, probably even physical paper mail. And they're going to make sure that you know about it. Now, if the 1st of March comes and goes, your Inventor's just going to stop working. It will stop working. There's going to be no grace period. There's going to be no leeway. It will stop working. Now, that's going to be a shitter in things like local authorities, government agencies, hospitals, schools, where the purchasing's handled by a completely different team, and they've got quite a hardball attitude towards suppliers. Well, we'll pay you when we're ready. We'll pay you when we have the money. We're waiting for some income to come in. We're waiting for this to clear, that to clear, this payroll system to go through. Then we'll pay you. Might be a week late, might be 2 weeks late. You'll get your money though. And in most circumstances, that's fine. In this circumstance, it ain't fine. It's not fine. If you're a day late, 2 days late, if you're a week late, your Inventor will not work for a day, 2 days, or a week. And that's going to be bad times and much sads. There's going to be a lot of problems with that. Autodesk will be like, well, tough shit, really. We told you that if you don't pay on time, your software will stop working. And there'll be people going, can't do this, man. You can't do this. It's outrageous. You can't just make our software stop working. Yes, they can. Absolutely can. I'm not defending it. I'm not saying that's a good thing. Serves you right. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But if you stop paying Netflix and didn't pay for your Netflix on time, you cancel direct debit. Your direct debit, come that direct debit date, if Netflix don't get paid, they'll terminate your service until you pay it again. It's the same thing. Just because this is CAD software, they can't really make exceptions for some companies, because if there's companies out there who genuinely get special treatment and they get this grace period, then other companies will be like, well, hang on a minute, why are they getting 2 weeks for free without paying for it? Where's our 2 weeks? Why can't we? They can't do that. That would be wrong. So the late payment thing is a thing. I don't know what more to say on it. Just be aware about that. So if you do move to this new subscription-based service from Autodesk, if you're late paying it, your software's going to stop working. Now, Vault. I don't know how many people watch this or have an interest or even know how Vault works, but Vault is a data management system. Data management system means that all your company's engineering data, all of its IP, is in this Vault system. Vault, come 31st of July, will be moving to a subscription-based service, meaning if you stop paying for Vault subscription, Vault will stop working. What happens when Vault stops working? Well, you can't get into your data, can you? You can't get your drawings. They're going to be in a system that you can't access. So initially, I was one of them. I kicked off big time about this. I was like, you cannot do that. You cannot stop companies from accessing their own data, their IP, their property, because they haven't paid a subscription fee. They can't do that. It's holding data at ransom. And then I kicked off and made quite a loud noise about it in Autodesk, and obviously ruffled some feathers, and I got to be fair to them, they've came back and said, look, it's not going to be like that. Yes, Vault will stop working if you don't pay for it, but we're not holding your data at ransom. We're not going to stop access to it completely. There will be ways of getting to it. So say, for example, company A decides that they were going to trial Vault. They've put in maybe 100,000 drawings into Vault, and then they decide Vault's not for us, we're going to move to something else. So they stop paying for it. Are those 100,000 drawings just completely inaccessible? Well, not really. There'll be ways of getting it. But at the moment, we don't know what those ways are and how it's going to work in practice. So it's going to be interesting because, it's all right. Some guy saying, yeah, it'll be no problem. You'll be able to get your data. That guy won't be the guy that company A needs to speak to when they need to get the data. It'll be some guy in product support who will be like, oh, I'll get back to you in a week. And, does he get back to you in a week? Who knows? It's going to be interesting. And I can predict a lot of bad times as a result of that. Right, the final thing to talk about here. the final thing to talk about here is problems with the system in general. Because this morning, I got a notification from one of the community managers within Autodesk saying that there's system issues within Autodesk, which is, and sit down for this, because this is quite interesting. There are system issues within Autodesk which are causing subscription customers of LT products to be unable to access their software at all. Yeah. So there's a system down within Autodesk, some server or something, some service, and as a result, people who have LT products on this new subscription licensing scheme are unable to open their software. Yeah, that's what I thought as well. That's all I know about it. Now, I've made some inquiries and I'm trying to... I mean, I'm not going to get any answers, to be honest. I've just asked the questions and sarcastically had to dig at them about it, but I'm hoping that this isn't affecting people that have already paid for their subscription and are, say, midway through a paid subscription period. If I'd paid, say, £400, right, for a month of use of Inventor LT, and then 2 weeks later, I've got a month, but 2 weeks later, Autodesk Systems goes down and I can't do any work. My paid-for software subscription stops working. I will lose my shit. I will hit the roof. I will tear them a new arsehole if that happened. Because that would be utterly unacceptable. Because what they've done is they've went from a perfectly safe perpetual system whereby you can pay $6,000 for Inventor and it will work forever. It doesn't matter. I can put on a laptop and go on a submarine and it'll work. I can stay isolated from the rest of the world for a month, for 2 months, for 6 months, and it will work. They've went from that to a system whereby potentially, if an Autodesk server goes down, their entire customer base can't work. Who approved that? Who sat in a meeting room and said, I know, let's do that. Good idea, Jim. Good idea. We'll put that into software. No problem. Yes. Pat on the back for you, sir. What? What? Oh my God, I don't know why that's happened, but that's happened. That's a thing that's actually happened. So as of this morning, anybody with, I don't know about anybody, but we're getting reports. In fact, I'll read, it's a public message, so I'll read it. Where is it? Oh, I've got it on a web page. Right, unable to access LT products. We are aware of an issue where customers with a subscription contract for LT products, brackets, except Maya LT, don't know why, are currently unable to access their software. We are aware of an issue where customers with subscription contract for LT products are unable to access their software. The issue is on our side, this is from Autodesk, and we are working to have this solved as soon as we possibly can. Please come back to this topic for updates on this issue. Sincere apologies for the inconvenience. So they're apologizing for it, which is fair enough. However, I would want somebody's head on a spike for this, because this is a new introduced problem. They have introduced with this new licensing model the possibility and the potential for an Autodesk system to take down all of their customers from working. That is just unacceptable. That is something that you should work towards stopping, not introducing in 2016. Wow. So that's happened. So just be wary. Take all precautions if you can. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what precautions you could take to get around this. You're at the mercy of their systems. It's not good. It's not good at all. So that's just a bit of news. I can't recommend any way around that. I can't say, hey, go buy a new subscription license because of that. I don't know what to suggest. That's terrible. It's absolutely dreadful. Somebody needs to have a word with themselves and he's probably right. I'll go as far as to say whoever's implemented this thing which causes this to happen, that person or that team needs to be reallocated. Janitors, something like that, toilet cleaners, because that is a dreadful design decision. That should never be in the software. Anyway, right. So that's the news. That's gone on for long enough. I don't think anybody's even listening at this point. Wave my hands in the air at this point. Talk shit. No, I don't think anyone's watching. That'll do. There's a couple of other bits of news to bring you, which unrelated to licensing, which I'm going to do a separate video for at some point in the future. But I think that'll do for now. So, all right. See you. Bye. Toodles.